Okay, so as you guys know, last week I ranked all the 14 rooms on the Skeld. So this week we're going to be doing all the 15 rooms on Polus. Polus is a lot bigger, there are less visual tasks because I think there's 2 or maybe even 3 on the Skeld. And I believe that the weapons and the med bay are the only ones on Polus. So we're going to be ranking the Polus rooms. Obviously, same thing, number 15 will be the most dangerous, number 1 would be the most safe. So let's get into the video. Okay, so number 15 is the boiler room. Now, if you don't know where the boiler room is, it's a little room in the southeast corner, and it links off the O2 room. Now, the problem I have with this room is a lot of people don't know where it is. So if someone gets killed in there, and you report it and you say the boiler room, they're always like, boiler? What? What's the boiler room? So it's not a very well known room. Also, the water wheels task is dangerous because people can come in and kill you. So my advice for you, I've got a tip for doing the water wheels task. Do the left one first and then do the right one if no one is watching you. If someone's watching you, you switch it around and you do the right one first and then the left one. My reasoning is the right one is right by the entry and the left one is up in a corner. So if someone kills you and you're doing the left one, your body might not be found. So the advice is if no one's watching, do the left one first because you'll be safe, and then you do the right one, and if someone kills you, you'll be seen. And vice versa, if someone's watching you, do the right one, so then if they'll probably kill you straight away, and then your body will be found. So that's my advice for doing the boiler room. It is a dangerous room though. A lot of people get killed there. Okay, number 14 is the specimen room. That is the room that has the decons, top and bottom decons, or the other way around, top, bottom decons. There's no vent in there, so no one can kill you easily. But if someone gets in there, you're kind of stuffed because it's narrow corridors either way to get in there. There's a fair few tasks in there. There's the store artifacts, there's Simon Says, and there's download data. So it's not an incredibly dangerous room, but just be careful when you're there. If you go in groups, I mean like groups of 3 or maybe even 4, then you're probably safe in the specimen room. So yeah, number 14, specimen room. Number 13 is actually O2. Now O2 actually has quite a few rooms. I'm looking at my picture here. I'm just going to zoom in on it. O2 has the tree room, as well as the cartridge room, and the room where you empty the chute. And the boiler room is down in that corner. So the boiler room is underneath at the bottom, and then above that is the canister room, and then the tree room. And in the tree room, you can download data. You can fix the tree or record the tree temperature. You can change the canisters in the canister room. You can empty the chute in the, or chute or garbage or whatever it is, in the central part. And you can fix the wiring up in at the top right corner. So there's a lot of tasks you can do. And there's a vent in the tree room that someone can vent out of. And it's kind of out of sight. So you just got to be careful when you're in there. Okay, number 12 is the laboratory. Now, the laboratory has a lot of tasks in it. It has the telescope task, the repair drill tasks, and the thing after you do the task, I don't know what it's called, where you've got to draw the line and then you flick the switch. There is 2 fixed wirings. So there's a lot of tasks, and it's divided into about 4 segments. You've got the part on the left that is purple, and then you've got the next bit. You've got the hallway, you've got the tiled bit, and then you've got the bathroom bit. So there's actually a lot of area. Now, my problem is when you're doing the fixed wiring task up in that corner in the bathroom, there's a vent right underneath you. And the vent is obviously a hole because that's what the vents are in Polus. Someone could hop out, kill you in vent, and you're really out of sight. So number 12 is the laboratory for a reason, that it's actually quite a big room, lots of blind spots. Someone could kill you easily. So be careful when you're in that room. So linking off the laboratory, number 11 and number 10 are both for decons. I've got upper decon in number 11 and lower decon in number 10. That is because upper decon has a fixed wiring task, whereas lower decon has no tasks. The whole way to lower decon is kind of curved and it's long, whereas the one to the upper decon's straight. But for some reason, I always seem to die more in the upper decon. And I think that's because the lower decon links off admin, which links right where the emergency button is. Whereas the upper decon links off the laboratory, and a lot of people die in the laboratory, as we know. So 11 and 10 is the decons combined. Now number 9, I've got the electrical room. Now we think of electrical as the purple area where you fix your lights, but it's actually all that area except for the little security room. So there's a vent, there's a download data, and there's a fixed wiring task. It's not completely unsafe, but you just got to be careful when you're there because there is a vent. There's no cameras in there, like the camera's on the outside, so people can kill you. And there's actually quite a few escape routes. You can hide in security, go down into O2, go outside. There's a lot of escape routes, and there's a part above it. So be careful when you're in electrical, but we are getting into the safer area now. All right, what are we up to? Number 8. Number 8 is Medbay. Medbay in Polus actually only has one task. That is the submit scan task. Now, I think this one might be a visual. I'm not sure. I think it is a visual. I think maybe on Mirror it's not a visual, but I'm pretty certain on Polus it is a visual. Medbay actually doesn't come up. When you go into the Medbay, it still says laboratory, but it is recognised as a room. Like if you've got the submit scan task, it will say Medbay submit scan, but in there it still says laboratory. It's relatively safe. No one would really go in there unless they had a task. The imposters might kill you. It links off the laboratory, so still be careful, but it's not completely unsafe. Number 7 might actually shock some of you. It is storage. Storage only has one task, but guess what? There is a vent right inside it. Now, communications and weapons are both like they're in the outside area and you've got to go in. They have vents outside them, but no, storage has one right inside it, and an imposter could jump out and kill you. But no one really goes in there. So we're actually about halfway through now. We're getting into the safer part. Now, I think it's relatively safe because I think crewmates can vent now, so the chance of it being an imposter was probably low unless there was no engineers. But you still need to be careful. I'm actually not sure if that door locks because when I've been imposter, I've locked all the doors and sometimes the storage one doesn't lock. I'm actually not sure if that one locks or not. But either way, still be careful when you're in there. And number 6, we have the weapons room. I've got killed in there a few times, but you're in the safer spot. It does lock. Imposters can come in, but there's no vent in there, so you can easily run out. And you could even go into the communications room, which is the next one. So communications room is the same thing. You actually don't fix the comms inside. It's around the outside on the northeast corner, but you can reboot the Wi-Fi, and I think there's another task you can do in there, or maybe you can only reboot the Wi-Fi. But there's not really any reason to go in there. So if someone goes in there, they might have the reboot Wi-Fi task. Otherwise, there's probably no reason because unlike all the other maps, so the Skeld, Mirror and the airship, you go into the comms room to fix it. On the Polus map, you don't do that. It's on the outside, but it's still near the area. So I guess you could say you do go to comms, but you don't really go into comms. So communications was number 5. Moving on to number 4 now. Number 4 is actually security. There's no tasks in there whatsoever. It's probably the smallest room on the map. It's smaller than the boiler room. You only go in there for the cameras. Now, the reason it's unsafe is because you can go in there and kill. However, no one really do it because it's actually quite a bad spot to kill, because if you kill, there is a vent in the corner, but someone could easily see you when you come out and you've literally got no way to escape it. You'd have to just admit, yeah, that was me that killed. So the security room is relatively safe. Obviously, there's some risk because there is a vent nearby, but you can't lock the door to it. You just run straight out. So it is a safe room. That's why it is number 4. Number 3 is a room that no one really goes into. That is the dropship. Obviously, when you spawn, you go in there, but you don't really go in there otherwise, because if people have the insert keys task, they'll do it straight away, and they won't go back there because you don't respawn in the dropship. You respawn in the office, and then you go off and do your other tasks. So if someone goes into the dropship, they might be hiding. They might have done all their tasks, but they might be an imposter. However, no one really goes in there. So I think if you want to hide and you finish your tasks, the dropship would be a good spot. Go right up the top, right where the insert keys task is, and you'll be fine. Okay, we're in our final 2. Number 2 is admin. I actually don't know if there is any tasks in admin. I'm trying to look right now. I don't believe there's any tasks in admin. That's why I think it's relatively safe. I think you can do one of the tasks through the wall, and you've got your lower decon that you can go into the specimen room. Now, we all know the specimen room is one of the most dangerous rooms on the map. But admin in itself has the admin table, and you're right by the meeting button. The meeting button is literally just up and around the corner and right there. So no one would really have a reason to do a task in there, but you go in there to get to the specimen room from the lower end, and there is the admin table. Now, the admin table, I think all the maps have admin tables. And I don't know if they're all in admin, because the airship doesn't have an admin, but I think in all the other ones, the admin table is in the admin room. And number 1 is the office. It is divided into 2 segments, the left office and the right office. Left office is where your meeting button is, and there's a fixed wiring task in there. Right office is where your vitals is. There's a camera in the corner, and there is the scan boarding pass task. Now, people do sometimes die in there, but you're right by the meeting button. It's relatively rare. There's a camera on one side, and if I'm wrong, I think there is a camera on the other side down lower. So as you come in where the admin room is, there's one on the corner near where weapons is. So that is the safest room. That is literally like the cafe. All the other rooms that are basically where you spawn is usually the safest room, because they're usually quite open rooms and people go in there. So that was number 1, the office. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next Sunday. As you know, I'm uploading on every Sunday right now, on Sundays. So I will be doing a different video next Sunday. I'm hoping it won't be an Among Us video. I've been like ranking all the rooms recently in terms of the safety for crewmates, but I don't think I'll be doing that next week. I might do the other 2 maps, but I will do them later on, so you guys don't have to watch one every single week.